Here's my big point for the day. All right, so I'm going to make one big point, and then we're going to talk about lots of little points, but none of the little points, if you added them all together, will equal this 1 point. It doesn't even get close. And here's the 1 point. I don't mind that Dominion has said we can't audit their systems because they say it's proprietary software and therefore we can't look at them. I don't mind. As long as you know that the alternative to auditing your election software, there's only one alternative, which is to throw out the entire election. Now, that's what you would do if you were, let's say, a corporation. Let's say you were a big corporation and you had found that some important process had run and you can't tell if the outcome was real or not real and there's no way to check. If you were a corporate CEO and your system had produced you an outcome, doesn't matter what the system is, it produces an outcome that you can't tell. You know that people had a motive to fake it. You know they had the opportunity to fake it, and you can't check to see if they did fake it. What would you do with that data? Well, you wouldn't use it, right? You wouldn't use that data. No head of a corporation would use data that's probably faked because there's the motive and the opportunity, and you can't check. There's no way to check. It's that simple. Now, if you tell me, Scott, we've had this software for years, we can't throw out all our past elections, I'm not saying that. Our past elections are the past. Can't change the past. But 100% of people who are familiar with software will agree with me. There are very few things that you could get 100% of people to agree with, but 100% of people who understand software will agree that if we can't audit the election system, wait for it, we don't even know if an election happened. Because what is the definition of an election? The definition of election is people vote, the votes are counted, and then whoever wins, there's some outcome from that, right? That, I think you'd all agree, that's the definition of what voting is. The people do the process of voting, you count them, then you change whatever you're going to change because of the outcome. Did that happen? We don't know. We don't know. We actually don't know. We know people attempted to vote, so we definitely have that part. And we know that something's going to change, so we've got that part. But there's this whole middle part where we don't know if the thing that people did, the voting, had any correlation with the outcome. Do you know? I mean, you have an opinion, and I have an opinion, but we don't know. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of knowing, like, a philosophical knowing. It's like, can we know we are really alive? No, I'm not talking about philosophically knowing. I'm talking about the practical kind of knowing, the kind where you organize your life around things you're fairly sure of, but you don't know. Like, I don't know that if I get in my car, it won't blow up, but I'm confident that it won't, so I'll get in my car anyway. So the point is, if you're arguing about whether the election was fair or not fair, you're thinking past the sale. Back up a little bit. You don't know if an election happened, right? So if you're talking about whether the outcome is fair or not fair, you've already thought past the question. Was there an election? Because I'm not aware of one. I'm aware of people voting. I'm aware that there's a president-elect, at least, in terms of the public opinion. I'm not aware that there was any counting of votes in which the votes translated into the outcome. I'm not aware of that. Are you? Of course not. Because the system that counted them says you can't audit them. And somebody said that they don't even keep audit logs. I don't know if that's true. But if somebody bought a system Let's back up a little and just appreciate the following statements. So it's been said that in Georgia, the Republican governor and Secretary of State, is it? Both Republicans, or were, and that they're the ones who brought this Dominion software in, which means that they being in charge, they didn't make the detailed decisions, but whoever did that for them decided to sign an election system contract without the right to audit the software. Do you know how big of a mistake that is? I don't know even how to put that on a scale. The size of that mistake, that's like legendary. That's not guy in cubicle forgets to check a box, right? That's a mistake that's as big as the biggest mistake that's ever been made in the history of the world. That's beyond the biggest mistake.